Hmm. Hello, hello, hello. This is Ann Sousa, founder of Healing the Global Village and the Global Firewalk Institute, premier firewalk school. We are here for Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa, and I have a fabulous guest. I'm waiting for him to arrive. Let me just check this and see. Yes, okay, I've closed that, so maybe there's no echoing. So I'm just waiting for him to arrive, and then we'll share a little bit of time and space. And while I'm waiting for my guest to come on, let me share with you that there will be every Monday at 11:11, I will do Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa. And sometimes that will have a guest speaker talking about who they are, their gifts to the world, but from a soulful lens. I want to bring this soulful navigation, this soulful consciousness, if you will, to heal in the global village. And what does that mean? Well, stay tuned to see more and more as this Soulful Mondays evolves, and what the endless possibilities and the impact can be here. So I also welcome spiritual entrepreneurs, healers, practitioners from around the world. If you think you want to come on this podcast, this live, I am in Zoom and streaming this live through Heal in the Global Village Facebook. And yeah, I welcome you, your gifts, your abilities that you're bringing to the world, and honor that. And so, yeah, welcome. So every Monday, as I was saying, we will do 21 minutes thereabouts, maybe sometimes 33 minutes. Just gonna send a little text here. So one of the things with Ann Sousa is there's nothing really pre-recorded, okay? So I'm pretty real, raw, live, and organic. So you may see things that I'm not cutting, I'm not editing. It's not my thing. I prefer to have it really real and upfront and organic. So sometimes, there's blemishes. In the audio, there's hiccups and stuff, but it's all good, it's all good. So I'm not going to filter that or try to edit that or, make it try to look a certain way. So every Monday at 11:11, a little before 11:11, I'm going to come on here live and do Soulful Mondays. And each week we'll have a topic. Now, when there's 5 weeks in a month, I won't do the last. I'm only going to do 4 weeks in a month based on the original source of that in actuality, there's only, once upon a time, there was only 4 weeks in a month. And so here is my fire brother. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa. Dr. Carlos Perez here, and I just want to take a moment. We got 2 minutes before we'll have a moment of silence, as I always like to do, and just to say, um, I'm really excited to have you here. And, I've done a couple pre-runs with the Soulful Monday, but today is the official launching of Soulful Mondays. And each Monday, as I said, we'll have a topic. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on and your authentic, magnificent way, self, and also the collaboration that you and I are doing to, bring the gifts to the world, the healing for the people from such a soulful place and a loving heart expression. So I really want to just honor you, see you, witness you here. And thank you so much for your
Thank
presence.
you so much. I'm honored, grateful, and just happy to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. So Carlos has been 18 years experience and a doctor of what I call him now my doctor of sound healing. And if you really want to know what that is, you have to experience him. And okay, so I'm going to put that on pause. As I said before, we're real live organic here. So let's just take 1 minute of silence to feel your own medicine gifts and who you are, feel that fire within yourself, but also feel the other elements of water and all of who you are, just every way you are. And then let's have that moment of silence also for healing the global village and the world. So beautiful. Thank you. And so I'll continue. 18 years experience, chiropractic doctor, but I call him my sound healing doctor. And as I was saying, if you really want to know what that is, you have to experience him on multiple levels because he's just full of talent and grace and heart and expression. And Carlos is known worldwide, and his singing, his crystal bowl meditation. He's the author of an upcoming book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Def-
Destined to Discover Me, in an autobiography in which he shares his near-death experience from 2010. And I can't wait to feel that and experience that with you. And he's led his, which also led to his spiritual awakening, and just a powerhouse person. And yeah, you can also grab a free sound meditation and a relaxation, stress relief from Back in Motion, LLC, all lowercase.com, right? Is that it, Carlos?
so it's going to be a PLLC, the letter P, like for power. Back in motion,
Okay,
PLLC.com. Yes,
excellent,
and you
wonderful,
can even put a link inside this stream later on in the thread, so people can
beautiful.
just go directly to that free gift.
Yeah,
Certainly.
people, awesome.
Thank you.
People can find you, experience you, wonderful. So yes, I welcome all the Facebook Live folks that are going to see this from the view of Healing the Global Village in the Zoom format. And, I just want to say this is the first launch of Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa, and that's what I'm really here for. I just want to sit and talk to people like yourself and, sit from the lens of all the spiritual entrepreneurs, healer practitioners, leaders from around the world of, you know, how does this work and all the magnificence that many people, including yourself, do and feed your soul. So I was wondering if you could talk about a little from the chiropractic lens to then um, At what point was it feeding your soul? Did you know that you needed to grow and develop inside, nourish and stoke in your own fire to that, what I'll say, and I will say that word often here, and all I can say is, if it triggers you, you're welcome, as my elder says. But I am going to talk about that spark, that arc, that flame, which is the soul and the flame of God. So, how did you know? And the flame of God, to me, I just want to say, is it's about the divinity, the aligning of the mind, the spine, the cellular molecular system into this divine flow. That, as we know, when we're in that divinity, there's no question of who we are, what we're doing. There's no question about our passion, purpose, because we're in alignment to divinity. So the gifts just naturally come. And that's really the root of why I'm here, why I'm looking to speak to people like yourself, so that we can elevate this and bring people to the awakening that you have everything you possibly need right within you if you just sit with your own internal flame and elevate that up to the soulful navigation versus what you shoulda, coulda, woulda, how you need to be in all the ways that system structures and paradigms penetrate us to no end, to conform and contort us to think of how we're supposed to be. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tell me.
Yes.
Tell us.
So much of what you're saying is, it truly brings me back to the beginning in 2003 when I first became a licensed chiropractor and started working in Bedford, here in New Hampshire. And at that time, I really was a product of the structures, the systems, and paradigms, offering a chiropractic model that was very much a result of how I was trained to see things from this rather mechanical perspective. In other words, focusing on the pain, focusing on the joints and the muscles, and really the physical experience of an individual's pain and nothing beyond that. And while that did feed my soul to a degree, looking back, what it was feeding was this desire to connect with others, to be with others, to listen to others, to witness others. It was certainly offering a lot of that to me. Yet there were pieces, and when I say pieces, I mean there were parts of a session that felt dismissed, ignored, not recognized, validated, or even asked about because it wasn't in alignment, pun intended. Chiropractors are about alignment, and here I am not being in alignment myself and not asking or inquiring or seeking further information about how someone was doing. How's their heart? How's your head? How's your soul? And how can I bring alignment if I'm only looking at one facet or one side? It really got to a point, Anne, that it was less feeding and more of a depletion for me. I wasn't equipped, nor did I have the skill set on how to handle and be with all of that, because I worked in an environment where that was not the focus or emphasis. It's you keep it on the sports and the injuries and so forth. And ultimately, it did reach a point where I could not take it. I could not handle it anymore. As we talk about the language of wound, I was done. I was done. Did have nothing left in the tank. How could I if I wasn't doing things to really feed my soul, as we talk about? I was successful. I had many clients. I was earning a lot of money, and none of that mattered because I never felt like I was really being me. And so as the transition started to change, I stopped practice altogether. It's all tied into my near-death experience. And as I started to come out of that, it really felt like an opportunity to see who I wanted to be versus who I should be as a chiropractor and what was expected of me as a chiropractor. And it started to become less about a mechanical structural alignment and more of like an innate life force, mind, body, spirit, soul alignment. and how all those pieces come together and how I can have access through the physical body at that time. And this would now be 2010. So while I was still using the same tools, my perspective and my view was now less about static and structure and mechanic and more about tone. It's as if I could now hear and feel with more than my ears and more than my eyes when something was just out of tune. You know, maybe something in their relationship with their confidence was out of tune. Something with their relationship of being able to communicate or express clearly just felt out of tune. And sound became the vehicle to help bring harmony to those particular out of tune areas. And just over the last, at that point now it would be 2011, 2012. So, 10 years later, here we are. And it's hard to call what I do chiropractic in the conventional sense, but I've come full circle to make sure that people are in alignment in different ways. Really. And I'm using my hands, but I'm not using force.
Sure.
And that has been a big change for sure.
And not just, what I hear you saying, not just focusing on the bone structure, but listening to that cellular vibrational system of somebody, huh? And so,
Absolutely.
in that moment of that pinnacle point where you knew, although all the external was you were successful through the number of clients, through your financial gain, and all that you served. I love the fact that you really, like, you call it out, that externally there was all this stimuli, all this validation to the egoic mind saying you're successful, you're hitting it out of the park, and yet internally there was a depletion going on to your own prana, your own life force.
Yes.
And so, I want to kind of clap, to say thank you truly for listening, because for those of you that are watching this, it's very possible that you too could be in a structure, a system, a paradigm, doing, tasking, Monday through Friday, a 9 to 5, get up, go to work, go home, go to bed, get up, go to work, go home, go to bed. And there's this thing that happens to us, right? And in the mundane of modernity, there's like a sleepwalking that eventually happens. And so to go on the edge of that cliff and to jump into a free fall, driven by the fire, the flame, the Holy Spirit, the flame of God, the arc, the spark within inside of you, to soulfully navigate. That's what these Mondays are about. It's a GPS from a soulful design. And, I can share that for my own personal self. In that transition, sometimes it's not about lonely, but one can feel alone. Because to say goodbye to the system, structures, and paradigms and the way it once was could even have some pockets of grief, huh? And,
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So, thank you for listening to your soul and, driving the vehicle from that place. As we know, the body is the physical to the soul seat. So tell us a little bit about what you might do, and how does the doctor of sound healing, chiropractor, and many other talents that you have assist somebody.
Sure. Well, it's a fusion. It's a fusion and an infusion. Up until 2010, I really feel that my mind viewed the world as it's either this or that. Like really in a heavy duality. There's no option number 3 or any other option besides option 1 or 2. And so even from a chiropractic model, there's so many techniques, there's so many techniques and approaches, but you kind of have to pick a lane in many ways when you first start out. And some practitioners will stay in that lane for 20, 30, 40 years. And if anything now, it's there's no lines on that lane. There's no lines on that road. There's still a road because we're still moving in a certain trajectory to create more wholeness. Really, it's to say that I don't care about your pain is not really true. It means that that's not the focus. The focus is on helping you really remember more of who you are and to help you feel more whole in all the different ways that can show up. So what I do when someone comes in, even currently, just to think of the most recent client, with regards to a specific pain and discomfort in her knee, we can address things structurally to see which structures are not doing their part, are in need of further support. But then we look at what side of the body is it on? What is the emotional anatomy that's being interfered with? What is the elemental anatomy that perhaps is speaking through this experience of knee pain? And by that, I'm referring to that which you've taught me through our shamanic elemental anatomy medicinal intensive, where we look and see how the elements of earth, water, fire, nature, and mineral are playing out in this individual's life. And zoom out. I always say the following, Ann. I say in our session we're gonna zoom in. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna hear. When you tell me, let's unpack it. Let's give it room to breathe, stretch out, and then we're gonna zoom out. And when we zoom out, we're looking at the medicine wheel primarily. I'm looking at my energetic anatomy charts to then bring those pieces together and explain that things happen in parallel. And I'm able to offer the following things, but there are pieces that are going to be for you to lean into, for you to become aware of, and for you to develop a relationship with, and not just keep it looking at the physical only, but helping you to zoom out as well. So that's the approach. And thankfully with this particular person, they have experience through some sound meditations that they've gone to that I've done. So they know that I'm not just gonna quote unquote rack 'em and crack 'em, as they say in chiropractic world. I'm not gonna snap, crackle, pop you, but I'm gonna listen and I'm gonna offer. And I take no hostages, nor will I be one. And as soon as I explained what the knee is in relation to energetically and even elementally from this person's year of birth, it was just clear confirmation. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is what I'm not doing. And you know what? I started shifting that before I made the appointment, and I'm actually been starting to feel a little bit better before I came in. So I think we're onto something. In her own intuition, she recognized the absence of nurture, nourishment, and support, feeding herself first. She was giving, not really receiving, and not moving in the direction she wanted to with work. And it's just beautiful to see when I don't have to say much, and then the dots all connect together.
And
And then the
so what
body's
I,
more receptive to get it worked on. Yeah.
oh, beautiful. Yeah. And so what I also hear you saying is you're not a doctor, healer, spiritual entrepreneur, practitioner that is having people come to you and you fix them. You're actually creating a platform and a beautiful environment where it's empowerment for people to have an ownership to their own transformation spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically in their healing journey. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it really is driven by the client in the sense that they have to come to a place, to a moment in their experience of ownership. This particular individual has tried countless interventions of different chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and those things all have a benefit. But when she wasn't noticing the change that she thought should have had, she thought, I think there might be something else going on, but I just don't know what it is.
Mhm.
And so she came in knowing that we would probably not be spending a lot of energy focusing on the physical, but on the non-physical. And there was that opportunity. And she is someone that certainly is in the ownership of it and had an idea of how to change, flip the script, so to speak, make that shift happen. But sometimes the mindset that's connected with the problem is not able to see the solution until the mindset is geared more towards the alchemy of how is this useful? How is this a gift? How is this an opportunity? And once we kind of organize some of the thoughts around it, it's just game over or game on. Because
Yeah, game
really
on.
now
Wonderful.
it's we can do all these different things and it's playful and it's light. It's not strict and rigid and structured like that.
Mhm. And then how do you, can you give us like an image, let us follow along with you in how then you would put the application of sound healing
Mhm.
uh, in this practice and the
So in this
benefits of that?
particular, sure, that's a great question, and that really depends on if the in this case if we're following this example because it was a face-to-face in-person experience, which is a little different than if it's remote or virtual, which I can still help with or help through. I use a sound therapy table. So my chiropractic table is, which is like a massage table, has the ability to produce these frequencies, and I have frequencies that I can play through the table to support any variety of physical, mental, emotional conditions, energetic, spirit, you name it. And in short, the table produces a vibration to help create a certain harmony on some level to make it easier for me to work on someone. It's like it's helping to dampen and soften some of the inherent resistance that we create because we're so focused on what hasn't changed, we're unable to see what could change.
Mhm.
And then in this particular client's case, and it can depend on how it shows up, but in this particular case, I use the tuning forks right over my shoulder here.
Wonderful.
And there's a particular tuning fork which produces a frequency that helps to release more, create more nitric oxide, which is a hormone that allows more uh, oxygenation to come into the area. It helps with increasing oxytocin levels, which is a hormone that just makes you feel good. So it's
Mhm.
helping to shift the chemical environment in the tissues to make it easier for me to do some physical work on the tissue to loosen something up.
Mhm.
And that's just one part because in addition to the frequency, the most important asset in sound healing, and I think in many healing modalities, Anne, is the intention.
Yes.
So it's not just I could approach it mechanically and just activate the fork, put it on the body, and just one Mississippi, two Mississippi. What am I gonna have for lunch later? I wonder what the girls are doing right now. Okay, I got 5 more minutes. No,
Yeah, right.
instead it's presence. Checking
Yeah.
my feet, breathing in. I build up my prana, right? And just set that intention of, in this particular person's case, it was a visualization that was coming in like a weaving to just really strengthen the lattice structure around the knee. That's just the intention that was coming in to create this beautiful, beautiful lattice, perfect geometric lattice to support
Mhm.
and using sound in that way. That's how it happened. But if they're not in person, it can still happen virtually. I use tuning forks a lot, but it could be with singing bowls or drums, chanting and toning. And then I use a little acupuncture doll, which is a little out of view, but it's probably a 2 foot long acupuncture doll. And that way I can put the tuning fork on the doll with the intention that I'm working on this person or that person.
Yes, beautiful. And I can tell you that for sure, that definitely works as a tantra massage remote astral therapist. So we can do a lot of work with attention on the intention for sure. Huh?
Mhm.
And
And I'll ask them to participate as well. I want to make that
beautiful.
perfectly clear because when you talk
Yeah.
about implementation and activation, this isn't a passive. I always use the analogy of a coin operated vending machine. You don't just put the money in, turn the knob, and wait for it to come. You got to do stuff here. You got to work with me. I'm going to ask you to breathe. I'm going to ask you to bring an intention. I'm going to ask you to sometimes say a prayer. I'm going to ask you to make an offering. I'm going to ask you to perhaps suggest ritual and things that keep it moving in physical versus just keeping it all in the head and wishing it.
Yeah, beautiful. And what I also hear you not saying, and I absolutely love it, of course, this is my practice with, our in the laws of karma. So many people think that karma is a punishment. And what I say to that is karma is a gift of purification. And so there's, this particular situation, circumstance, whatever it is occurring in our lives. And it can be an amazing invitation for us to then step up and in alignment to the ownership of that brings about the transmutation, transformation, and that alignment, as we say here. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
And so, anything else you want to speak in reference to, um, the doctor of sound healing that I love so much with you? And maybe something that, I always love to give a takeaway here. We're talking about soulful navigation here on Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa and guests Carlos, Dr. Perez, and Doctor of Sound Healing. But I know for him and I, we work enough close together. We have the same similar heart expression of, we want people to have application. So anything I do teach, I know you're the same way. We want the takeaway not to be about, something, we're promoting, selling. That's not what these Mondays are here for. It's about an application of what is something somebody can do, whatever situation, circumstance they're in right now, right here, as a takeaway. Do you have
Absolutely.
something?
100%. And this is one of the simplest, easiest things. I'm just going to be clear. I love having these different instruments available. I could play tuning forks, singing bowls, and drums all day long. And some people think that in order to heal or to bring alignment or refinement, that they need to use all those things as well. And that's not true. The most powerful instrument that we have access to is the instrument of our voice. And I like to show people how simple and powerful something like humming can be to help you heal. And what we mean by that is through the course of the day, if we find ourselves becoming consumed, pulled into a tunnel, into a funnel that's draining, depleting, and not necessarily sustaining or supporting us, humming is a simple practice that we're going to do right now. I'll do it. I'll lead it.
Beautiful.
And it's conscious humming, which means there's an intention that we're creating here. So what do we know about any kind of vocal technique is that it's going to support breathing, because there has to be a lot of awareness and attention to breath, so that during the exhale, you're able to generate the sound, whether it's a vocalization or something like humming. So humming is probably what I would say is the foundation before you get into things like toning, which is singing a vowel sound, or something like chanting, where you would say a full word or sing a full series of words rhythmically. So with humming, all we're going to do in just a little bit, we'll have our mouths closed. We're going to gently press our tongue to the roof of the mouth and just behind the upper row of teeth. And you're going to check your posture, check that spine, check your feet. We want to be open, but we don't want to be really stiff, just open, and take a moment to set an intention. If maybe in that moment you feel that your intention is to invite clarity, your intention may be to invite a deeper stillness or presence, maybe your intention is to raise that noom, kind of increase the prana, raise the fire a little bit. If you're feeling really sluggish, really tired, humming is going to help to boost immunity. It's going to help relax blood pressure. It's going to help clear sinuses. It's going to help release toxins from the body, from the chemical effects of it, the vibrational effects. There's really, it's been widely researched, and a lot of people appreciate when they can see some science to support the experience. So all you would need to do anytime during the day, you can just do about 5 repetitions if you'd like. What you'll do is check posture. You'll have your mouth closed. We'll be taking a deep breath in, slow, big, full, deep breath into the nose. And as it's time to exhale, the exhale is happening as you are creating your hum sound. And this isn't America's Got Talent, Ann. We don't need to be in perfect pitch. Your voice may move all over the place. Try to see if you could keep it in one level, one pitch, but don't worry about what sound it is. You don't have to sound like me. I don't have to sound like you. Sometimes as for fun, I'll hum the tune to the Smurfs theme song and just and it just brings a smile.
You can
And
tell
you've
Carlos
talked
has a 3-year-old son.
and you've talked about how the smile and just the act of smiling
Yes.
just whew. So be playful, have fun with this, but let's just take a moment if we could,
Yeah,
and
let's
we'll just do 5 repetitions.
Okay.
So we're checking our spine, we're open, we're relaxed as well, feet to the ground, and just breathing a few times to feel that connection with breath from the soles of our feet, bringing the air up from feet, from ground to crown, and then exhaling it back down. Taking time to just create a simple intention for what you wish to invite, and the humming will help activate it in this moment. And on my count, we'll take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, with our lips closed, tongue against the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, we'll just hum. So here we go. Let's take a deep breath in, everyone. And hum. Number 2. And number 3. And 4. Number 5, and at the end, just allow silence and just be with it.
I could feel the shift. I hope everybody else felt that shift, the before and after. It was like after the 5th hum, the inside was just, it was like this reverberation.
I intentionally made sure to add one where it moved just to let you know and remind you that you want to explore, because you're actually finding the sound that for you really helps you feel most present, most aware. I feel completely just here more clear and open, like my eyes just got flushed and my vision just got tweaked, and yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so that would say conscious humming, pretty
Yeah,
simple, pretty
yeah,
powerful.
and bringing that breath from the gut up, huh? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really. That manipura, that
Mm-hmm.
third chakra from that navel come up. Well, this was soulfully delicious for me. Yep, and I hope soulfully delicious for you, my brother, and all those that will
Always.
view this now or later. Please, post this on your social media so people can feel the feeding that's happening here. And I just want to say, the Soulful Mondays with Ann Sousa, I intend, and the attention on the intention is to create a soulful menu that's very diverse and multi-function for everybody, and topics. And as I said, before you came on, spiritual entrepreneurs, healers, practitioners, I welcome you to come on and send me a text 978-479-1335, or send a message and let me know if you're interested in coming on. We can have a conversation, short conversation, to see if it's a fit for you and what the motive and agenda here is. And I'm clear that there is one, and that is to have Soulful Mondays with a soulful menu. And we can be in the world, and we don't have to be worldly. Even in a 9-to-5 job, you can soulfully feed yourself, and you can do the internal work to dismantle some of the programming and wiring of system structures and paradigms that have programmed us to believe that we need to be herded like cattle in this mundane life and deplete, as you so eloquently said, and the soul. And it's not true, folks. There is a choice here, that we can still participate, pay our bills, live in our home, have a wonderful life, family, friends, lovers, children, and all of that, and bring our gifts to the world soulfully. So this is what Soulful Mondays are about. What I'll say is, as many of my students say to me when they experience me, is buckle up, because we are here in a collaboration with you. And you being all the gifts that you have inside of you, I welcome you to bring them to heal the global village. So thank you so much, my brother. I love you, love you, love you.
Thank
Send
you so much.
big love to your family. And
Absolutely.
any closing things you want to say here, please do.
Sure. Again, to thank you for the opportunity to share, to be seen, to be heard, and to help me remember even more where I came from, who I am, and why I'm here. You are certainly an incredible facilitator of that journey and experience. And to everyone watching now or on a replay, a message that was given to me before I ever got into real sound healing was, you got to find your sound, you got to find your voice. It's there. I assure you, it is there. And humming may be what helps activate and awaken that remembrance, to say what you mean, to mean what you say, to speak from a place of compassion, truth, and love to yourself and to the community.
Beautiful.
So thank you.
All right, we'll have a delicious Soulful Monday, and thank you all again, and namaste, blessings on your journey.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.